Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894 for a brand new video. Is the Premier League over? That is the topic of today's conversation. It's going to be an interesting one. But before we get started, please leave a like on the video. It really helps us. It helps other people find the channel. And of course, subscribe if you are new. It's a great community. Do get involved. Right, Joe, this is not a conversation I thought we would be having in the middle of January. Is the Premier League over? As it stands, the Premier League table is on screen for you right now. We are 11 points clear of Liverpool. I think we're 13 clear of Chelsea, having beaten them on the weekend. In January, an 11-point gap is quite substantial. But I do want to notify you guys that in the season we won it by 1 point ahead of Liverpool. They were 10 points clear, I believe, in December, January, and we went on to win it. So crazy things do happen. Now, if you remember back to August, the talk of the town was this is going to be the Premier League title race of the decade, or the last 2 decades, a 4-horse race. City have got a fantastic team. Chelsea have just bought Lukaku, European champions. Liverpool are Liverpool. They've got Salah, Mane, a great team. And they had a poor season last season. They're going to kick on and put a big challenge in. And of course, the Man United, who you'll see are sitting pretty 7th down the table, nice and cold down there. 26, 25 points, whatever is behind us. I'm not even going to bother doing the maths. They bought Varane, Sancho, Ronaldo. They were supposed to be in the title race. But now we're here in January. We've just won 12 Premier League games on the bounce. And like I said, we're 11 points clear. We've got a goal difference of 41 to match Liverpool's 37. We're in a pretty good position. Now, you'll notice Liverpool have 1 game in hand. If they win that, they're playing Leeds. You would imagine that they will win that. It'll be 8 points clear. 8 points is not a huge amount. Yes, it's a comfortable lead. You can afford to lose 2 games, maybe draw a couple. But there's a lot of football to be played, you notice. We've only played 22 games. It's a 38-game season. I'm by no means comfortable. So the answer to the question, is the Premier League over, is no for me. Joe, what are your thoughts? Obviously, it's a very interesting one. We're in a good position, but it is by no means over as far as I stand.
No, it's not over, and you're right. You're completely right about the point before. A couple of seasons ago where we won it by a point, Liverpool were 10, 11 points clear in January, and we had a game in hand, and we came on, won 14 games and won it by a point, all because we beat them. So, again, like you said, strange things have happened. I'm not ruling that out. Liverpool are a fantastic team. Of course, at the moment, missing a few players, but, I mean, they are like us. They could beat anyone on their day. But, I mean, is it over? Rival fans are saying it's over because the gap is so big. We're obviously not going to say it's completely over yet because it's just, we can't get too ahead of ourselves.
They're trying to put pressure on us by saying it's over. Yeah,
they're trying to put pressure on us, and Pep and the players and everyone at the club will say no, it's nowhere near over. And the media's claims are, oh, City have won it, City are ruining football, you know, they've won another league, they're so far clear. It's far from over. We've got another, we've got another 16 games left to play. There's still a lot of games of football. We've got to play Liverpool still. We've got Spurs at home. We don't really like to play well against Spurs for some reason, although we are at home. At least we're not away. But United, again, any of those teams, if they want to turn up, they can give us a game. Again, I keep saying the stranger things have happened. United have beaten us before when they shouldn't because they're not that good. Spurs have gotten a result against us before. Liverpool are Liverpool. Like, there's a lot of points they can make up. And at the end of the day, if you do the maths, if they win their game in hand, which is against Leeds, I'm pretty sure, they'll be, what were we saying, 8 points? 8 points behind. And then they'll play us, and that could make it 5. And then getting into, there's not a lot of room for error, so it's still not close to being over.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you've just mentioned 2 games that we could very easily slip up on, and that is, of course, Liverpool and Man United at home. We've played all the typically tough fixtures away this season, but United have had our number in the Etihad in recent years, and that's just a fact of the matter. And on their day, they with the quality they do have in their team, if they turn up, they can beat us. If Liverpool were to beat us, this is all hypothetical, of course. If Liverpool were to beat us in the Etihad, all of a sudden it's down to 2 points. Now, it's a very unique season. Now, we mentioned the season where we caught Liverpool when they're 10 points ahead of us. This is far more unique in the sense that there is a thing known as COVID-19 flying around. All it takes is for us to have a bad month of COVID cases where some instrumental players or really important players are out, and we start dropping points. So it is one to bear in mind. I think it's fair to say, I'm going to put my neck on the line here now. I really cross my fingers here that this now comes back to bite me in the arse, but I think it's fair to say that Chelsea are probably out of the title race now, okay? They're 13 points behind with a goal difference 28. Unless we have an absolute catastrophe and they go on a mad run, which, if I'm being totally honest, after watching them a few times this season, I don't think they have it in them just right now. I don't think they're going to catch us. So it is probably back to the recent tradition of a City-Liverpool title race. Do you think that's fair to say, Joe?
I do think it is. I mean, United were out of it so quick that were they even in it in the first place? That's the question you got to ask yourselves. And Chelsea are the same. Were they even in it in the first place? The football is not sustainable to go on a title charge. Yes, they'll probably be good in knockout competitions because they can nick a few 1-0s and they can keep it tight at the back. If they've got a lead, they can hold on to it. But at the end of the day, it's a 38-game season. You can't just, beat a Norwich, a couple times a season, and then when you come up against your rivals, you lose to your rivals. They can't do that. They went to the Etihad needing to get 3 points to even keep their title race remotely alive. And they got battered worse than the first time this season at the Bridge. They got pumped. I know it was 1-0, but they got pumped. The title of the review was they're out of it. I truly believe that they're out of it. They're not going to catch us. If anyone's going to catch us, it's going to be Liverpool. Chelsea, I think, will just now focus on, I think they're in the Carabao Cup final, albeit, yes, it is a Carabao Cup. It's still a trophy at the end of the day, and they're still in the Champions League, so they'll probably just focus more on the Champions League. And look, City could maybe turn their attention to the Champions League a bit more, but at the same time, again, it's not over. We can't just go full, gung-ho for the Champions League and just write off the league and say, oh, it's done. That's what Liverpool did a couple of years ago. They went for the Champions League and we beat them by a point. And yes, they won the Champions League, but it's because they shifted their focus. We can't do that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think that's a good point, to be fair. But something I want to touch on is all the talk we've done so far in the video is kind of from a negative standpoint, right? As if a catastrophe was to happen, COVID cases break out, or we drop points silly. But we are on a 12-game winning streak, and we are playing well. We're not showing signs of letting up, which is great. So I do want to talk about, just briefly before we wrap up, the possibility of it going really well and we continue this run. Obviously, we've gone on massive runs before in recent seasons, and it's looking great. We are a second half of the season team. It's looking great. If we carry on like this and keep going the way we're going, we could, in theory, you'll never hear this from me until it mathematically happens, we could wrap up the league mid-March, late March, and focus on the Champions League, which would be absolutely fantastic. But as far as the Premier League goes, the job is not done. I think if we can continue this winning streak up and all the way through February and finish this month obviously strong, much easier said than done. Do not get me wrong. I'm not being complacent. I'm not being arrogant. But we do have the quality, we do have the mentality, I believe. We've been in this position multiple times. We know what it's like to have to fight for every single game, and we're on a roll right now. If we can continue that, keep just chipping away week after week, pick up the 3 points, there's no reason we can't wrap up this league by mid to late March, early April, and turn our attention to big ears, to the Champions League, which is something that has eluded us for so long now. What do you think about that, Joe? I think it is also well within the realms of possibility. I think we've been a little bit negative, but we have to be like that as well. But then, of course, there is a possibility for genuine greatness this season.
You can call it negativity. I think you just have to keep it real with yourself at times and basically just not get too carried away, because it can just come around and bite you in the arse. But I mean, it is something that, we're on track. I say we're on track. It's not out of the realms of possibility that we go and get 100 points again. It's not. We can still mathematically do it.
I think mathematically it's 101 is what we can get, is it, or 103?
I think it's 103 we can mathematically get, which is still absolutely insane. Under Pep Guardiola, getting to 100-point seasons, that's incredible. But if we get to a point where I think, now I don't know exactly when the Liverpool game is. I know it's after the Sporting game, and
it's not till early April.
Yeah, no, look, listen, I don't expect Sporting to give us too much of a challenge. I think we're just too good for them. If they're giving us a challenge, I just don't think the Champions League is going to be for us this year. I think we should probably be looking to dispatch them. No disrespect, of course. But I think, if we get to that Liverpool game and we're even further clear, or if we beat Liverpool, I think it's done by that point. I think, Liverpool can't afford to slip up. Liverpool need to go on a run like we did. And, I think if they drop points another couple of times, or, get another couple of games postponed, because we talk about games in hand, they've still got to win them. They've still got to fit them in and actually win the games that they've got in hand. So I think a couple more slip-ups for Liverpool, which could happen. They've got a few players missing. Then I think the league's done and we can focus on the Champions League. I think we can focus a little bit more on it at this current moment in time. Maybe rest some players in the league. I think the likes of Bernardo Silva in the league, we can, play a little bit less league football when the Champions League kicks off again. Helps we're not in the Carabao Cup. I know it's in the final, but we missed out on a lot of football there during the festive period. And we can use the kids in the FA Cup. It's really not that important, the FA Cup. I think the big two is far more important this season. And I would turn attention to it a little bit now, especially with how clear we are at the moment. I think, it'd be a little bit, I don't know what the term I'm looking for here is, but I think it'd be a little bit stupid not to turn attention to it a little bit, considering we've run such a good chance to actually focus on it a bit more. Like this time last season, because we were so far back, early on in November, we were like mid-table. We had to focus on the league, and yes, we did still get to the final, but we couldn't just turn our attention.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, man. You're making some pretty good points there. But just for you people at home, we're trying to give you kind of both sides of the perspective here, which is if we were to have a catastrophe and Liverpool catch up with us, and if it goes well, which is what we're speaking about right now. I think knowing Pep, obviously not personally, but knowing Pep as the manager of City for quite some time now, you best believe he will be looking to wrap this league up as soon as possible. He'll say it in the media every single week, the league's not done, and of course it's not done. You won't hear that from any of us, from anyone within the City camp, but he will be looking to keep winning games, get those points added up, and finish this league off as soon as possible. So when we do get to those latter stages of the Champions League, where we do draw the teams like your PSGs, maybe even a Chelsea, a Bayern, whoever, Real Madrid, obviously a very strong team now. When we do come to draw those teams in the big stages, obviously we need to get over Sporting Lisbon and whoever else first. But when we do get to those stages, we want a clear run. We want to clear our mind of the Premier League. Obviously, we want to win the Premier League games around then too, get as many points as possible, maybe break a record, who knows, much easier said than done. But the attention will firmly be turned to the Champions League. You best believe Pep is desperate to win that competition, and the best way to do that this season, and to give yourselves the best chance possible, put yourselves in the most advantageous position, is to clear yourself of domestic stress and domestic games and worries, and not have to worry about desperately needing 3 points in the weekend when you're playing PSG in the same week. So you best believe Pep will want to wrap it up as soon as possible. I think it's a very interesting conversation. We will probably have a similar video to do in February, where we'll talk about what position we're in then and see where we are and what we can start looking towards then. Hopefully we keep getting the wins. Obviously it's a big one this Saturday against Southampton down in St Mary's, which is by no means an easy place to go. Every game in the Premier League is a possible banana skin. We're 12 on the bounce. I don't see why we can't keep it going. We're looking like a well-oiled machine. Fingers crossed, all I can say. It's very enjoyable. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments on the league table right now. What mindset do you think, what mindset have you got? What attention do you think Pep has for other competitions right now? Is he just looking to wrap it up as soon as possible? Because that's what I think is happening. Anyways, leave a like in the video. Like I said, it really helps us. And subscribe if you're new. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comments, and we'll see you very soon. Good night. God bless.